Liverpool take on Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. And Liverpool have played them a few times in the past. I think the last time was in 2021, and they have won both of the previous two encounters. But so obviously Atletico Madrid are traveling from Spain. They will be missing Julian Alvarez seemingly, and I know it's been a while since Liverpool played them, but is this a game that Liverpool should be looking to win? Not necessarily comfortably, because Atletico Madrid are a very good side, but maybe this isn't the same type of Atletico Madrid that we might see at their peak under Diego Simeone.
Yeah, I mean, they've not made a very good start to the season at all, have they? I think it's 1-1, drawn 2, lost 1 in the La Liga, so they're kind of sat in 11th or so. So it's not been a great start for them, which, gives you encouragement, absolutely. And Julian Alvarez not being part of the squad is a massive help, because I think he's a fantastic player, and so do Liverpool's recruitment staff, funnily enough. But yeah, so that's a boost. But I think you can kind of look at this in two ways, really. I think one of them is that, okay, Liverpool should have more confidence. They're coming in against a side that's not at its absolute best. But equally, for Atletico Madrid, does it kind of clarify things for them? Does it kind of clear their mind and say, okay, well, we just go back to our basic principles here and we turn up at Anfield and absolutely ruin this game? All the dark arts, all the kind of little dives and slowing things down as much as humanly possible. Do they kind of just go down that route to just make it really difficult for Liverpool? And we know if they do that, they are very, very good at it. And one concern I have there is that Liverpool came up against that very low block against Burnley, and yes, they got the win, but they weren't perfect in terms of unpicking it. So it would be a real challenge to come up against Atletico doing that. And 0-0 would be a great result for Atletico as well, or if they can nick one for a set piece or whatever, if they can get the win. So that's maybe my small concern around it is how things play out in terms of that. But I think it's not an Atletico side that's playing at its best at the very least. And with the Anfield factor there, the fact that Liverpool hopefully are starting to find some rhythm now, and that they've got goal threats all over the pitch, that Isak may be possibly involved as well. There's a lot to be encouraged by there. And, the fact it's the first Champions League game and it's a big one, I think the atmosphere is going to be really good as well. So, there's a lot in Liverpool's favour there, I'd say. But of course, they've got to be very wary of how Atletico approach it, because they can make life difficult for you, even if they're not at the best.
You mentioned the low block, and it's absolutely true, because facing Arsenal, Newcastle, Burnley, Everton on the weekend, and Atletico Madrid midweek, that's not the ideal scenario for Liverpool's forwards. But speaking of Liverpool forwards, Alexander Isak could make his debut for Liverpool on Wednesday. I believe Slot said that if he was to play on Wednesday, he could play something like 45 minutes, but then that would rule him out of the Merseyside derby on the weekend. What would you go with? Because in the league phase of the Champions League, you don't need to win every game to progress. And as we saw last time, winning 7 games didn't really help Liverpool, because they did draw PSG. So would you maybe be more tempted to leave Isak out so that he is available for the Premier League, where you have to generally try to win every single game?
I was kind of surprised, actually, that he said he would be ready for 45 minutes. I didn't think he would be quite at that level of fitness. I thought it might take a little bit longer to get him ready. So, but obviously they definitely know what they're doing, the medical staff. And so if that's the advice that Slot's being given, then he should be ready for that. For me, I think the perfect split here really is to involve him against Atletico, to get him on the bench, because obviously you get 12 subs as well in the Champions League. So definitely name him in the on the bench there, and maybe not be reliant on him. But if you can get yourself in a position to give him maybe 15 minutes, which then would set you up to maybe give him 30 minutes against Everton, where you might need him in that game, because Everton are playing well at the moment and will make it difficult. That's almost the ideal scenario for me. Just give him his Anfield debut against Atletico, give him that 15-minute run out there, get some fitness into him. And then if you need him on the hour mark against Everton when Ekitike tires, what a substitution that would be. And what a lift it would give the crowd if it's 0-0, or if Everton have got the noses in front. So maybe that's the way that Liverpool will play it. I think that feels a sensible situation at the moment. But of course, you never know how the games are going to go, and things will change or whatever. But, right now at the kind of start of this week, looking ahead to both games, that for me would be the ideal scenario for Liverpool.